Hi, good evening, everybody. This is Michelle Collet. Welcome to the 8 o'clock webinar. We are just closing up the 7 o'clock session, and the agenda is working well, so I'll go ahead and have you take a look at my agenda. First thing we need to do is I know. So, say, show my screen. Show my screen. We're just taking a moment here to make sure the document's on the screen and everybody can see it. Excellent. Okay. So what we're going to do tonight is first look at the quote from Lao Tzu and get everybody focused and in their chairs. It's okay. Then what we're going to do is show the agenda for the next hour and set up the introductions. And I would like to call your attention to both opportunity to send questions and to use the chat box if you're having trouble with right or left hand. So I see already there's some questions coming in. If I don't respond to you right away, it's because I'm doing some talking and not quite going into the boxes to check the text. But we will get to every piece of the agenda. I appreciate your patience. So let me see if I've got my attendees open and ready to go. And I see Yona, Jennifer, Shelley have sent questions along. If somebody could type me a chat just to double check that technology, that would be helpful. And if you could let me know what you see on the screen. So again, we're looking at the chat box and seeing if folks can text in. I see the agenda from the University of New England. That is my able colleague, Andrea. Thank you so much. All right, we are underway. So I'm going to move the screen down here and we'll take a look at the agenda. You can go ahead and see the purposes that are listed at the top of the sheet, and then I will talk a little bit about the prompt for introductions. Okay, as we make our rounds, we're going to be looking at a few slides. They're actually part of the Word doc. I'm going to show those in a moment. When it's time for you to introduce yourself, if you could do your name, role, organization, and a recommendation for balancing work, school, and family or personal life. Everybody's in the midst of sorting that out. You can imagine this week and coming to terms with school starting seriously for those of you who work in schools, ongoing work for those of you who had no time off this summer because you work year-round. A lot of family changes. We have 3 new babies, at least, in our group. There may be some more that make an appearance here as we come online to the next group. So that's what I know for sure, and I'm going to go ahead and read through the rest of the agenda. Q&A for orientation. Feel free to put those in the question or chat box. I will take those up afterward, however, because most of those are handled in the parking lot and in the course itself. You'll be introduced to the staff here in a few minutes. There are my Skype office hours. I had a quiet Skype last Friday night. I'll have another one coming up. And then you can see there's a save the date, which is during the 801 course, which is about 8 weeks long. We'll have one all-group seminar with a consultant on our PMAI inventory, and she is Carol Burbank. She'll be joining us Wednesday or Thursday, the 25th or 26th. We try to generally give people 4 weeks before the next course starts heads up about the one event they need to hold time for. Everything else is fairly flexible. All right, so I'm going to go ask Elizabeth Benz to be our opening introduction. Elizabeth, how are you doing?
I'm great. Can you hear me?
Can loud and clear. Thanks so much for joining us. And many of you know Elizabeth's voice, and all of you know her work because she is the person charged to ensure that your program begins and that you are supported with all things technical and bureaucratic. So Elizabeth, thank you so much for your service.
Well, you're welcome. It is my goal to make this an easy process for you because this is a big change for everyone in the program.
Great. So if you would introduce yourself with your name, role, we know your institution, and something you do to balance work and family. That would be a terrific way to start us off.
Absolutely. Again, my name is Elizabeth Benz, and I am the Student Support Specialist for this program at the University of New England. One thing that I do to balance work, school, and personal life is I live by my calendar. I create a weekly schedule for myself, identifying time for work, identifying time for learning, and identifying time for my personal life. And that's what I do. I typically revise it each week. I post it on my refrigerator so I can see it in the morning when I'm getting ready for work. So that's how I manage my schedule. And I find that having a calendar, having a list, checking things off as you get it done will keep you on track.
Excellent. I tell my students the calendar is your friend rather than have it be terrorizing you.
It really is, and sometimes it can look scary.
Wrestle it into control. That's right. Elizabeth, thanks for starting us off as a member of the staff.
You're welcome, and I just want to welcome everybody to the webinar.
Great. Okay, then we're going to Matt Pettengills, one of the newest members of our staff. Matt, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Matt Pettengill. I'm the excuse me, the staff assistant for the EdD program here at UNE, and my position is very new. I actually just started on August 1st working with Michelle, so I do feel quite close to your cohort, even though I won't be doing schoolwork with you. You guys are kind of starting at the same time I am, so please don't hesitate to contact me if you need anything. I'm here in the office, and I'll do my very best to help out with any questions you might have. But I came to UNE. I worked for 5 years at a local independent bookstore as the assistant manager there, so a big part of my interests are reading. I do a lot of that. And as far as time management goes, my life is not probably as crazy as some of yours. I've read your bio posts, and I'm in awe of all of you and of the things you juggle and are doing, so I'm really impressed. I've always found that, thank God for Outlook. I use that on my computer here, and the calendar function is a godsend. So that's my personal thing. I'm kind of like Elizabeth. It's good to have a schedule all set up, but you guys could probably teach me some things about organizing.
Great. Well, you'll get a chance to look at all their calendars, and you'll see the inventive ways people have to manage all that. So thanks for introducing yourself, Matt. Okay, we're going to go on to one of our new faculty members, Pamela Flood. Pamela, how's it going this evening?
It's going great. I'm very excited to be here. I'm Pam Flood. I'm new to the faculty here at UNE. In fact, I just started today. And things that I do to help keep myself balanced is I do use a calendar as well. If I have big projects, I really like to backward plan those out. But I try and strike a balance and incorporate wellness using yoga and meditation into my life.
Great. And I've asked her to take the whole department under her wing and get us doing yoga. I think it will be fabulous. Pam, welcome and thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So we're going to introduce the other two faculty colleagues who are Joanne Cooper and Cadence Atchison a little bit later in the event because they're also going to do short presentations. So you're listed alpha by your first names, and that's how I'll be starting the introductions tonight if you're tracking that. And we're going to start with Cassandra Crawford. Cassandra, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent, and you're coming in loud and clear. If you could introduce yourself, name, role, institution, and one recommendation for balancing work, school, personal life, family.
Name's Cassandra Crawford Sigler now. I was just recently married this summer. I'm the program director for nutrition and dietetics at Northeastern State University in Tahlequah, Oklahoma. And I started back to school yesterday, so it's been a little crazy. And as far as balancing, I would definitely say that I live and die by my schedule. If it's not on there, it'll get missed. So I try to schedule everything. And really, what I've learned since I started teaching, which has not been for very long, I pretty much take Saturdays for myself. That's what I do. So if it doesn't fit in Sunday through Friday, then it doesn't get done because Saturdays are for me.
All right, that's good. That's a literal Sabbath on the seventh day, huh? Okay. Appreciate it. Thanks so much, Cassandra. All right, Christina, how are you doing tonight? Checking your audio here. Christina, can you hear me? This is Christina Cloit. We have two Christinas. All right, Christina, you're showing as a mic, but you're not. I'm not hearing you, so you may need to come out and go back in, or go out and come back in, because that's what sometimes works to get the audio going here. So let's go. Give her a moment to do that. Christopher, can you hear me? I can hear you. Okay, your audio is really fuzzy and you have some sort of echo, or I do. If you could try again. Let me see, hear your audio. How about now? Okay, you might check your mic that's on your headphones or the one on your machine. Take a few minutes with that. And you're getting louder but still fuzzy. How about now? Still sound like you're in a phone booth. I'm going to recommend that you close out and come back in, and then it takes a minute, but it really helps with the audio, and I'll come back to you. All right. Okay, so Deborah, how are you doing? Deborah, can you hear me? Hello, Deborah. Deborah Gardner-Bosch, can you hear me? Well, we'll get some audio challenges here. Now, Deborah, I'm doing the same thing, but I'm going to, I know my able colleague Andrew's listening in, so she may have some advice. You can take a look at your messages and see if we can't get her something here. We've had Elizabeth, and we're going to try James. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
You're excellent. Yeah, go ahead, James, introduce yourself.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is James Francis. I'm the special department head and the music teacher at a little charter school just outside Boston, Massachusetts. And one of the things I try to do to arrange my time management is to keep work at work and home at home. This way it tends to save me on stress, and that way when I get to work, I feel like I'm in a work mode. And thankfully, work allows me to stay as late as I need to. So I've been often there at 10 o'clock at night trying to get things done.
Well, sometimes it's good when they throw you out.
Yeah.
And you can't stay too late. James, thank you for welcoming yourself and your introduction.
No problem.
All right, let's see if we have Jason. Jason, how are you doing? Jason White, I hear you.
You do?
Yeah, I can hear you, and maybe a little one there. How you doing?
Yes, my kids are still up. I didn't realize that I would be on.
Do you want me to come back to you in about 5 minutes?
Sure, that would be great.
Yeah, I'll be right back to you. So we have some little ones in the house. That's wonderful. Jennifer, is it Gallipo?
Yes, that's right.
Great. How are you doing tonight, Jennifer?
I'm doing fine. I'm Jennifer Gallipo. I am the University Director of Outcomes Assessment at Johnson & Wales University in Providence, Rhode Island. And it's a brand new position, and I've only been in it since July 1st, so I'm trying to figure it out. And my strategy for managing or balancing is knowing when my energy level is best. And for me, that's crack of dawn in the morning, 4 o'clock. I have lots of thoughts running, and 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night, I'm not so good. So that's when I plan to do most of my work.
Right. I'm a member of the same club, and people that work close to me know that about 4 o'clock I sort of crash. So they have to give me easy tasks at the end of the day. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's see. Jennifer Nelson.
Hello.
How are you, Jennifer? There's two Jennifers. I have Nelson on the line. How do you do today?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
I'm Jennifer Nelson, or Jenny Nelson, and I coordinate professional learning for an intermediate school district just outside Minneapolis, Minnesota. And my time management strategy is to block time for studying and family and work, and try to keep it as sacred as possible.
Good. It sounds like you sound like a sane human, so maybe it's working for you. Great. Thank you for the introduction. All right. Jill, can you hear me? Can we hear you? Jill, are you there?
Oh, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes. Speak up just a little bit.
Wonderful.
Great. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Jill Wilson. I am a third grade teacher, as well as a child study team and Race to the Top coordinator for the elementary levels of Susquehanna Valley School District in upstate New York. And my time management, as well as everyone else, I do really well with a written schedule. If it's on the computer or on my phone, I don't do too great, but if I have it written out in front of me, I do the best that way. I often joke my life is one big Post-it note. I write everything on Post-its, and as I complete it, I throw the Post-it away. But I also make sure that I take time to care for myself, to get in a run or a good workout. It really helps me deprogram from all the craziness when I need to.
Great. Excellent. So we had someone else recently on the other section talk about sticky notes, and it seems quite therapeutic to just tear them up when you're done with the task.
It does.
Great. Thank you so much. All right. So John, you're coming up. John Buffin, you're next in line. Can you speak up? How are you doing, John?
Great. It's my 4:30 in the morning here in Dubai.
Yes, John is in. Tell us where you are that you're allowed to tell us. You're in Dubai.
I'm in Dubai, United Arab Emirates.
Great, great.
And my job here is to, it's the Presidential Royal Guard. I'm the lead instructor, mentor, advisor to basically their Secret Service here in Dubai, and tasked with protecting everyone from the Sheikh to visiting dignitaries at the Secretary of State and higher level.
Wow.
So it goes with everything from writing curriculum to actually being out and instructing. I have underneath me Australians and Emirati instructors, so cultural balances, language balances. I'm speaking pretty good Australian yet, but my Arabic has not come in yet.
Yeah, the hearing of it's harder than the speaking, I think.
It's true. And
so you have a special balance working family with the clock. So, well, for you promptly, how do you manage the clock when you're doing international work?
It's actually works great here. Our weekends go Friday, Saturday, so Sunday through Thursday is our work week. So it seems like I'm always ahead of the United States, by 8 to 10 hours, depending on where you are. And it helped keep me through my grad school at Penn State, going and always staying ahead of things. But the biggest thing I did this year, I have to give credit to my wife, who helped me organize myself. My last semester, she did a calendar on a whiteboard, and I had every week planned what was coming up, and it looked scary, but it really helped me that last semester. So I will continue that throughout the next couple years here with this for sure, and it was a big help.
Great. Try the stickies and the whiteboard. That might be a good combo. All right. John, thanks for getting up at 4 in the morning for us.
No problem. Enjoy it.
All right. Okay. Leon, how are you doing? Leon,
Hello?
can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you
hear
check
me?
my pronunciation, please, and say your name?
Leon.
Leon. And I had talked to you quite a while back. I'm pleased to welcome you into the cohort. If you could introduce yourself.
Yes, I was sticking around for a whole year waiting to start because I applied back in last year, I think, 2012. But in any case, my name is Leon Royster, and I am an ESL teacher in Trenton, New Jersey. And basically how I manage my time is to prioritize the most important things that I need to do with literally using a checklist in my head mentally as well as physically. And I just check off what I need to do on a day-by-day basis. And when I need to, I delegate because I have 2 small children too. And that's pretty much how I do it. And I get a lot of work done after 9 p.m. at night.
Yes, I think we're going to have a lot of that with this particular
Hello?
group.
Can you hear?
There's quite a bit of youngsters in the house. Yeah, great. All right, thank you so much for your introduction. All right, and we're going to go ahead and check on Mark Jacobson. Mark, go ahead, please.
My name is Mark Jacobson, and I'm a secondary school principal.
Can you speak up just a little bit?
Hello?
Can you speak up just a little bit? You're very clear, but you're faint. So get closer to the mic or speak up.
My name is Mark Jacobson, and I'm a secondary school principal at Wells International School in Bangkok, Thailand.
Good.
Did you get that okay?
We did. Sounds perfect. So tell us what time it is there.
7:30 in the morning, so I'm in the office with the lights off and the door locked so I won't get bothered.
That's right. Well, we'll get you so it's a drawback to come. You could have come an hour ago, but then you had to get up a lot earlier. So thanks for making time for us. We're going to be here just about an hour, so we'll get you back to your kids and your school. Tell us something you do to balance work and family, especially given you're overseas.
I'm not sure that I succeed at balancing work and family, but I just prioritize what I can and get it done as quickly as I can. My wife works on Saturday, so I do spend the entire day with just me and my daughter on Saturday, and that always makes me feel better. And then she doesn't work on Sunday, so I use Sunday as sort of a catch-all to get caught up. But I think really the important thing is staying current all the time, and I don't get too overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm. All right. Although somebody last time suggested not letting your phone be on while you're trying to get work done, so there's probably some truth to that. So have a good school day, and I appreciate you making time for us this morning. Okay, Mary, is it Mary? Are you there?
Hi, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. And do you go by Mary Colleen or just Mary? How would you like to be called?
Mary Colleen or Mary or MC. Either one is fine.
Okay. So go ahead and introduce yourself. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Mary Colleen Patterson. I'm an instructor of English at Midland Technical College in Columbia, South Carolina. I still have the New York accent. I just started yesterday was my first day.
You still have a New York accent after one day? Or how long have you been down there?
I've been down in South Carolina for about a week and a half. And I previously taught in upstate New York, so I still have the, I can't quite understand the accent yet, but I'm starting to get it.
Right. Great. All right. Well, thank you for introducing yourself. So we're going to push pause on the student introductions and bring Joanne Cooper in to both introduce herself and say a little bit about her role in the program as a consultant on professional and research journal keeping. And then we'll come back and pick up the couple of folks with audio problems and the balance of the introductions. Joanne, I'm just getting your mic open here so you can join us, and then I'll get your slide on the screen. Joanne, how are you doing?
I'm great. It's lovely to hear from everybody here from far-flung places like Bangkok and Dubai. Wow.
Yes, isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it is stunning. I was thinking about the miracle of computers and the internet. Makes this happen. So, who am I? My name is Joanne Cooper, and I am a professor emeritus of an educational administration program at the University of Hawaii. I was there for 21 years and taught qualitative research for about 18 of those 20 years. So I have a long history with teaching qualitative research, both beginning and advanced, and I taught the qualitative research course in the first cohort at UNE. So that was my first experience with online teaching. The other thing that I am very interested in and teach is journal keeping, and I often use journals with my students in various courses, but I also taught a journal keeping class in teacher education at Portland State University, and I divide my time between Honolulu, Hawaii, and Portland, Oregon, where I have, Oregon, I have 2 daughters and 4 grandchildren. So I have a real belief in keeping a journal as a way to stay sane and also as a way to stay organized. So I think that would be my tip for balancing your life, is to use a journal. It can be very meditative, and I was interested in some of you saying that you meditate, but also it is a way to stay organized. You can make lists, you can write the to-do. I keep both a professional journal and a personal journal, and I was thinking about that sticky note suggestion that was made. I don't want to throw them away because I can never remember what I've done. So I write it all in my journal and then check it off when it's done, but it's in there so I can go back and go, oh, did I do that? Yeah, I did. It's done. So it'd make me nervous to throw them away, although I understand how that might be sort of therapeutic. But we're going to be talking a lot more about keeping a journal in graduate school and as a qualitative researcher in the future. For today, I just have some quotes that I wanted you to think about that sort of underscore the functions of journal keeping in graduate school. And the first one is by Susan Flagle, who said, "One of the missing and least valued qualities of our culture is the capacity to reflect. We value speed, action, productivity, and tangible rewards, and often move straight from brainstorming to implementation, failing to take time to ponder the complexities surrounding our decisions." And I think the culture really pushes us to make fast decisions, to be efficient, and it values speed, action, and productivity, which means you sometimes don't take the time to think through the long-range consequences of the decisions you're making. So I really liked what she had to say there. Secondly, May Sarton said, "Perhaps we write toward what we will become from where we are." And this sort of goes along with Michelle's Lao Tzu quote that talked about the journey starting with under your feet. And I would say, well, it's not perhaps, it is true that we write from where we are toward what we will become. So that's one of the things you're going to be doing as you look at this doctoral journey. E.M. Forrester said, "How do I know what I think until I see what I say?" And often people think that they have to know exactly what they think before and get clear about it before they can write it down. And with journal keeping, we really believe that writing is thinking, and that you don't know what you think until you sometimes see it come out of the end of your pen. So there's 2 advantages there, and one is that you can sort of read your own mind by just free writing and saying what's on my mind, what's coming up. But then you also generate material that you can use when you're writing papers. And the act of keeping a journal is also practice, so that you are able to make words come easily out of the end of your pen. They may not be totally organized, but that doesn't matter. At least you have something to work with. So I really would recommend that. And then finally, G. Lynn Nelson had a similar thing to say, which was, "I was taught to write when I had something public to say, so I seldom wrote. Now I write in my journal to find out what I have to say, so I am forever writing." And I know Peter Elbow has said that he thinks no one would continue to write if it wasn't for the surprises. So the act of writing is one that helps you discover what it is that you have to say. And I think that's a really valuable practice. So I would encourage you all to begin now, both as a way to stay organized, make to-do lists, etc., but also to reflect on what you're reading and learning. And then we'll be using those techniques when you begin learning about being a researcher, which is going to happen here in the near future.
That's right. And before, when we just get to set up our habits of mind or practical everyday kinds of things that we do to stay tasky and getting our work done and thinking about our research, because it's an ongoing piece of work that everyone holds, and the journal really is a wonderful way to guide that and support it. So thanks, Joanne, for starting your work a little bit early. I'm going to go back around to Deanne, who we think has audio. Let's take a listen. Deanne, let's hear if we can hear you.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Absolutely. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Thank you for your patience and for your work with Andrea to get you back in.
You're very welcome. My name's Deanne Christensen. I live in Southeast Kansas. I work for Amazon. I actually work at home virtually. So to keep my life in balance, I've done this job for 3 years, a little more than, and I have learned the hard way that you have to make a healthy separation between work and life. And so I literally keep my work locked in one room, and I make myself take breaks, and I usually try to take my lunches as scheduled and try to make myself log off when the end of my shift happens. Otherwise, it is just so easy when your work is at home. It's so easy to get, just go log in for a few minutes, you think, and then you end up, you're working 17-hour days, 6 and 7 days a week. And anyway, so it takes a lot of discipline to keep that balance. So I live on Outlook calendar also. I manage employees in 3 different time zones. So without those calendar reminders, I don't know what I would do. So.
All right. Well, maybe you can consult with me. I'm still managing to learn that. So thank you.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
All right. And Deborah, we think you're in the swim here. How are you doing? Deborah?
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yay, I can hear you. Can you speak up just a little bit?
Okay, I will try.
Okay. You're there, you're a little faint, so we'll listen carefully. Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Deborah Gardner-Bosch, and I am an English language arts teacher at our local high school. I'm a mentor for new teachers and a literacy coach in our district, and I live in Vermont. I guess my tip was very similar to what Cassandra had to say, which was surprising to me. I don't often hear anybody else who says the same thing, but I literally take a Sabbath a week, and we have Saturday. That's a family day, more meditative, reflective kind of day that we try not to work.
Great. And there's actually some interesting research coming out on the importance of holding family time that is not connected to the internet. And there's some very interesting people writing about that. So maybe you can weigh in with them and offer your support. Thank you so much. And I'm glad the audio got sorted out. All right. So I'm going to go back around and pick up a couple of other folks here. One is Christopher. Christopher, I was keeping notes and I wasn't sure that I spoke with you. Can you help me with that?
Can you hear me now? I'll start with that.
I can. So did I miss you last time?
You didn't. I was just having a little audio problem.
Good.
So
okay, I was just making sure I didn't actually speak with you and then not take the right notes because I'm juggling lots of technology here. So go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Hello, my name is Christopher Berg, and I am currently the Senior Manager Trainer for the Northeast region for AT&T. So right now I am based out of Framingham, Massachusetts, where our corporate office is located for the Northeast. But for the last 4 months, I've been pretty much living in Dallas and in Atlanta and Framingham, managing curriculum assessments and trainer assessments. As far as work-life balance and time management, it's the biggest irony of my life, working in telecommunications and connections, but you got to be present when you're present. So when I'm home, I am home. when I'm working, and absolutely these cell phones, I carry 3 of them, they have to be out of sight, out of mind, and turned off.
3 cell phones. I don't know if you should be allowed to do that. All right. Well, I guess one of your recommendations then is to hide your phone or turn it off. So.
Just turn it off. Trust me, don't worry, AT&T will still bill you, I promise you.
Yes, that is right. All right. Thank you for getting back in the loop here and introducing yourself. Okay, so let's go back around to John. John, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
All right. I think I already had you introduce yourself. Yes.
Yeah, we did.
Okay,
You're
just
checking
double
to see if
checking
I'm
my
still
notes.
awake, are you?
Well, partly, but I'm also making sure that my notes are correct here. And Leon and Mark and Colleen and Matt. Okay. Is it Mariah or Myria? How do you pronounce your names?
My name is Mariah Dixon.
Mariah. Thank you so
Yes.
much for being online tonight. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, I'm Mariah Dixon. I'm a kindergarten teacher at the Alabama School for the Deaf, and I've been there for the last 8 years. I love working with the little kids. And then after school, I work as a mentor teacher for 4 high school teachers, mentoring them as they get started as teachers. And I teach professional development, various things after school to that group of teachers. And then my advice for balancing life is that I have a tendency to if I start working on something like something for work, just keep working on it and working on it and working on it until, because once I get myself going on something, then I find myself, I'll just keep working on it. And if there's something I can't seem to get myself going on, I'll save it for later, because normally, you know, later on I'll be in the mood to do it and then I'll want to work on it a lot. So giving myself a little flexibility to switch tasks sometimes. If I can't get going on one thing, save it to do next.
Great.
That's
Great
it.
advice for the rest of us. Yes, thank you so much. Okay, we got Pam. Renee, how are you doing tonight?
Hi, good evening. Yes, this is
Good to
Renee.
speak with you.
Thank you, and you as well. Renee Thompson. This is my 5th year as a building administrator in our high school, Ellsworth High School in Down East Maine, which is on the coast of Maine. And I have been, this is my 2 years as an assistant principal and then my 3rd year as a principal. And I am really learning to rely and trust technology to help me stay managed with my time. So I keep a calendar, and I have a couple of devices, an iPad and a phone that communicate with each other. And if I don't write it down, I won't remember it. So I've gotten very, very good at just using the reminders with my phone, and I'm learning how to use the speak on the phone and on the iPad, so I can say things right into the technology, and it records it for me.
Great. I'm a student as well, and maybe I'll call you offline and we can trade some ideas, because I can always more. Thanks, Renee, so much.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. So let's see if we have Scott. Scott, how you doing?
Very well. How are you?
Good. Go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Thank you. Yes, I live in Utah, about 40 miles south of Salt Lake City. I teach religion and history during the day to high school age young adults, and in the evenings I'm an online instructor for Brigham Young University, Idaho, where I mostly work with working adults and helping them get their degrees. Most of my tips for balancing everything have been said. I like to compartmentalize my life and set aside blocks of time, but one thing I'm finding that's very helpful for me and my family is setting aside one-on-one time for my wife and children, and that helps me to really focus in on them and make sure I'm being a good father and husband and that kind of thing.
Great. Thank you for the advice. And it sounds like you keep some priorities around that as well.
Yes.
Great. Okay, Chantel, how are you doing?
Hi, yes, good. Good evening. Can you hear me?
We can, loud and clear. Go ahead, please.
Okay, wonderful. So I'm Chantel Sullivan and from upstate New York, near the Canadian border. And I'm currently the Director of Chemical Dependency Services at Canton Potsdam Hospital. So my main site clinic is outpatient services, but I certainly take administrative call and supervision of our detox in the hospital in the acute care setting, as well as our 17-bed rehabilitation program. I'm still in the process of learning balance, I think. I'm using my Outlook calendar, connected to my smartphone, and setting phone alarms as much as possible. Certainly Saturdays is a day that I think we spend most of our time as a family, and throughout the week making it possible to take at least an evening walk and leaving our cell phones at home. But again, I think it's a learning in progress.
Great. I like the evening walk. That's a good strategy. Thanks for coming on tonight.
Thank you.
All right, Shelley. Shelley in BC,
Hi.
Can you hear me? How are you doing?
I can. Thank you. My name's Shelley McClure, and I'm an organizational development consultant at Vancouver Island Health Authority, as well as an instructor at Vancouver Island University in British Columbia, Canada. And I mean, I think my strategies are very similar to all my fellow learners. One is for sure to set boundaries. I set really clear boundaries, and I don't deviate from those boundaries. I'm pretty scheduled and pretty determined. And I think the other thing would be just sprinkle grace. Like sometimes I just say, you know what, give yourself a break and sprinkle grace on myself and just go, you know what, don't beat yourself up. And I have one afternoon that I call my catch-up day, and it's a bright pink and on my calendar. And you know, if things get disorganized or unraveling, then I always know that on Thursday afternoon I've specifically scheduled a catch-up day.
Great. I have a strategy I just remembered from a long time ago. A friend would write that she had a meeting and she put it 3 times a week and just write meeting, and it would be with herself. But she made it a priority, and then people would say, "Can I meet with you?" "Oh no, I have a meeting." You know.
I love that.
Yeah, so I like it. Thank you so much, and I'm glad to hear you online tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, Susan, can you go ahead and introduce yourself? Susan Keogh? Susan?
I am here.
There you are. Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Susan Keogh, and I'm Associate Director for Curriculum and Instruction at Lake Highland Preparatory School in Orlando. This is my 25th year, and it's been interesting because I feel that my job has evolved, and I've had the freedom to kind of create what my responsibilities are. So in addition to curriculum development and professional development, I organize and direct our summer program, which is for children pre-K through 12, most of whom attend our school. And so since so much of that involves planning throughout the year, I suppose I'm always keeping a year-long calendar, so I know what tasks need to be addressed during, each month, and I try to stay with that as much as possible.
Great. It sounds like you have a plan and you follow your plan.
Mm-hmm.
Works good. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Terry, how are you doing tonight?
Hello.
Hi. I can hear you, but you're a little faint. If you could speak up just a bit.
Okay, is that better?
Yeah, a little better. So just go ahead, please, nice and clear.
My name is Terry Lynn Hamby. You can call me Terry. I'm the Assistant Director of Science Labs at Atlantic Cape Community College. I also adjunct teach part-time there. My biggest thing has been learning to say no to the time wasters and keeping on schedule and making lots of lists.
Yeah, just say no. I haven't heard many people say that tonight, but it's one of the most important ways to manage time and that keeps some balance in your life. So thank you for the reminder.
You're welcome.
All right. Yona, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
My name is Yona Rose. I live in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. I'm a 6th grade teacher at New Hope Soulbury Middle School. I've been there about 15 years, teaching 16 years. I've done lots of stuff to help technological advancements in my school to the point that I can't get a computer lab anymore because all of my colleagues take it away from me and give it to their students.
Yeah.
Yeah, it worked out for
you were
them.
too successful, right?
Yeah. And I'm claiming being last, and I take my dog for walks with my wife to spend time with her. I make lists. I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and do my work before I go to school while my wife sleeps, so I can spend the afternoons and evenings with her when I get home from school and from coaching.
All right. Good strategy. Thank you, Yana.
Thank you.
So we're going to go back around and pick up Christopher. I think the babies have gone to bed, and then we'll bring Cadence back in. Cadence is our librarian, and she'll be giving you a little tour of her website. So let's see, Mr. Berg, if we've got you ready to go here. And let's give you a try. Christopher.
I think I actually went already. You got me on the
Oh,
first
okay.
time
Must be.
around.
Oh, and you know what? I bet it's Pond. I think I've got 2 Christophers. Thank you for your getting me straightened out. Let me go back and check on. You know what? He is. Okay. Well. So I'm glad you got to go. This is great. We'll go back to Cadence and. Oh, you know who I missed is Angel. Hang on, Cadence. All right. Angel, how are you doing?
Good. How are you? I was just getting ready to send you guys a message that I was here. I was able to get in. So
yeah, I just buzzed through the list again, and I saw you come in. So super. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi everybody. My name is Angel Al-Hassari. I live in Michigan, Southeast Michigan, near Lake Erie, and I am employed with the Detroit News Agency. I am in human resource management, and it's been busy at work lately, really bad, and it's hard time for me because I just had oral surgery and recovering from that and had a bad fever last night, but getting better. So the way I manage my time is actually I really know myself, and when I'm able to do things, the time I like to work alone when it's quiet. If I have to study, I prefer to leave home. I like to go by the water or nature, that way I'm not distracted by anything or any sounds at home, so I can focus better and take in what I'm learning. And practice mindfulness and eat healthy. Just you got to keep up on your health because without that, you're not good to no one.
Yeah,
so.
That's right. Right. Good recommendation.
It's good to be here with all of you.
Water. Sounds like a lot of you are near enough to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Angel.
Take care.
Okay.
Michelle.
Christina. We have one more try around. Christina.
Hi. Can you hear me now?
How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Christina Cloyd. I actually am not too far away from, I think it was Jill Wilson who said that she's in upstate by Albany. I'm in the Middletown area of New York State, which is about an hour and a half north of New York City. And I actually work at a BOCES in Ulster County, and I provide professional development and school improvement strategies and support to school districts that are identified for special education identifications through both the federal and the state identification systems. And I actually travel up to Albany quite a bit, so maybe I'll even get to meet Jill. And as far as organization and my time goes, I have a dry erase calendar in my kitchen. I have 3 children, and all of them are involved in sports, and my husband is also going back to school at this time. So we have a color-coded dry erase board that we update every week, and everything just moves up a week on the chart. And then I put it all into the computer, and it syncs with my phone. If I didn't have my phone, I'd be lost.
Wow, good combination of whiteboard and a phone. I'll try that. Thanks, Christine. I'm glad you could get on the line here. Okay, let's try to get Cadence on board here. Cadence, I'm unmuting
Michelle?
you.
Michelle?
Cadence, how are you doing? Yes. Is that Andrea?
Yes, it is. There's one more participant, Jason.
Okay. Oh, yeah, Jason, I tried him a second time. I thought I didn't hear, but let me take a look and see if we can't get him on. Cadence, I'm just going to leave you open for the moment. Jason, can you hear me? Hey, Jason.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
I keep
Glad we got
losing
you.
my
Thanks, Andrea,
connection.
for the heads up. Okay, let's get you quick while you have a connection. Go ahead and tell us something you do to balance work and family, and then you can tell us who you are.
Okay, that sounds good. Actually, I have a pretty diverse job, so you know, in order to balance my work life, I just you know, I do something else in the job. You know, whether I meet with a client or I read some policy or develop a policy or apply for a grant. You know, that's really how I spend my time. So it's diverse enough so I can manage it pretty well that way. If you could still hear me.
I can. You're still coming through. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay, nobody responded.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, you're good.
I'm the
just letting you
CEO
finish
of
your
Maine
thought here, so
Behavioral Health
tell us,
Organization.
uh-huh.
Okay, good. I'm the CEO of Maine Behavioral Health Organization, which is an organization I spearheaded the development of. I'm also a traditional National Guard member, and I hold public office as appointed by the governor to the Governor Baxter School for the Deaf. And so you know, like I said, I can move on to different work pieces to you know, kind of change gears, and so that's pretty helpful. And so I do want to apologize for having a hard time here. I am on vacation with my family at York Beach here in Maine, and the bandwidth at the hotel is fluctuating, so I keep losing connection.
Yeah. All right.
God.
Well, thanks for your
and I think my wife
persistence.
picked this place intentionally. And I think my wife picked this place intentionally to get me away from work, you know, away from the cell phone, the internet, and she's doing a good job.
All right, well, good. Well, we'll keep this short. We only have one more piece of the agenda, and then you can get back to your vacation. Okay, Cadence, how you doing? Now I turned you off. All right, there we go. Cadence, how's it going?
Okay, great. Can you hear me?
Great. Yes, I can.
Hello?
So,
Okay.
Yes, welcome. Can you hear me?
Thank you. Yes, I can.
Great. So what I'm going to do is Cadence is on the agenda as to be introduced as an instructor, staff, and all-around research librarian. So I'll have her say who she is, but we also are going to give her the screen so she can give you a very short tour of some of the basic websites you need to use for your library research. And that'll be our last part of the session. So I'm going to try to change presenter without losing her audio. Here we go.
Okay, great. My name is Cadence Atkinson. I'm a reference and instruction librarian here at the University of New England. The library homepage, and I'm just going to point out some of the resources that will be useful to you in the course of your studies here at UNE. So hopefully you can see my screen. So we're looking at the library homepage. This is une.edu/library. And I'm going to start by sort of taking you through that left-hand navigation, and then we're going to look at the Education Leadership Subject Guide. So starting with that left-hand navigation, all of the resources, and I'm going to point out with a few exceptions, which I will mention as we get to them, you will be able to access from any internet connection by using the same username and password that you use to access your UNE email. So the first part of your email address and then the password that you have selected to access that email. That should get you into our full-text journals and to any of the databases that you want to access. So pointing out on that left-hand side, the full-text journals listing there is important because in the course of your studies, you are likely to come across a full citation for a journal article and this will be the place that you'll go to try and find that journal in the full text. This journal title search has everywhere that we have each individual journal, so it will give you both print holdings on campus, those are very small at this point, and also all of the different places that we have it electronically and the date ranges that we have it for in various places. And then if you can't find a particular journal article in the full text, then the next step is interlibrary loan, which is linked right from this page. We're using an interlibrary loan management tool called Iliad. And Iliad requires a username and password as well. This is something that you'll set up the first time that you use it by clicking on First Time Users and filling out a registration form. So for this, you'll choose a username and password, and it can be anything that you would like it to be, and you'll select that the first time that you use it. Once you have logged in, and I said this to the last group too, interlibrary loan is not a great way to support a distance program generally. Iliad is a little bit different. You can see over on the left, to make the request, you can request an article, a book, or a book chapter. And they break out books that way because both book chapters and articles can be delivered electronically. So that's why there's a username and password, because there's a secure server space attached to this. So if you request an article or a book chapter, you'll get an email with a link in it. You'll log back into Iliad, click on electronic delivery, and your item will be there waiting for you. So this is really handy because it really is very quick. It can happen wherever you are. You don't have to worry about getting to our library or getting to a library to get access to an item. Now that said, books are different. They do still come through the mail, so this does not work for that. Often, what I will direct people to, and if you kind of work your way again down that left-hand navigation, there's an online students tab there, and if you click on that, there's a whole list of resources here that we recommend for our online programs, and among those is something called WorldCat. WorldCat is run by somebody called OCLC. They have developed online library catalogs, and anytime someone uses one of their catalogs, they ask for access to your catalog records so that you can see kind of at a glance what the world has for a particular book or topic. So it can be kind of overwhelming, but if you have a title, a specific title that you're looking for, you can type it in, and then once you click into the record for the item, I can just scroll down a little bit. You can see here's the Find a Copy Online, and that links to our library's possible holdings. And then I have my location set as Biddeford, or sorry, actually as Portland. And these are all of the places close by that have access to this particular book. So this is something that you can do, and you can set your own location to see if there are local libraries that might have access to a book. And I recommend this just because, as I said, interlibrary loan can be a really difficult way to support a distance education program because of the travel time involved for books. You order something via interlibrary loan, it gets shipped to our library, and then we have to ship it out to you. And occasionally, depending on where you're ordering from, you only have a couple of weeks with the book, so it can mean that you actually get the item and then a couple of days later have to send it back.
Cadence, you're a little.
Sorry?
Cadence, you're kind of in and out. If you could speak up just a little bit.
Sure. Sorry. Let me see if I can turn this up anymore. I think I'm at max. Can you hear me? Michelle, can you hear me?
Yeah, that's a little better. Yeah,
okay.
Go ahead. That's a little better.
Okay. All right. So that's just a start for resources, the full text journals, and then interlibrary loan. In addition to looking at books, electronic books are a really good option. We have upwards of 180,000 electronic books at this point. It's kind of outrageous. So we have this ebooks limited search of our catalog. And so you leave electronic books in that search box and then put in your topic and hit search. And then you get a list of everything that we have available electronically on that particular topic. It's not a really faceted search, unfortunately, but it will at least give you an overview of what we have available electronically. And the nice thing about electronic books is that they are all keyword searchable. So once you click into one, then you'll be able to search across that particular book for the keywords that you're looking for. So that's another book option. Moving down again, so databases by title is an alphabetical listing of all of the databases that we subscribe to. That can be handy if you have a particular favorite database. Underneath that, Dune, Digital UNE, is actually something that we're launching tomorrow. So it's not quite live yet, which is exciting. It is an online repository for scholarly content designed to collect, preserve, and provide access to the scholarly and creative work of the University of New England community and the unique resources contained therein. So one of the neat things, listening to Joanne a little bit earlier, we actually have May Sarton's papers in the Main Women Writers collection, which is one of our special collections. I don't know that those have been digitized yet, but it is a possibility. So I thought that was kind of neat that she shared a quote from May Sarton. So that's Dune. Borrowing, that's where the link to interlibrary loan, there's also another link to WorldCat in there. The online students page I showed you, there's a great wealth of information there for folks who are doing this at a distance. So you might want to take another look through that on your own. Get Help and Ask a Librarian. These two, Ask a Librarian is a web form. So if you're having trouble with something, trouble accessing something, or trying to find something and you're not sure if you're looking in the right spot, this is the place to go. You can plug in your information, let us know what's going on. There are 4 librarians who check this, so it gets checked evenings and weekends. It's the quickest way to get a hold of somebody, which is pretty handy. And then under that, or not under that, Get Help. So under Get Help, we have links to some style manuals. We have a list of tutorials, so if it's the first time that you're using a particular resource, we have tutorials designed to walk you through the search process and different things step by step. And then Ask a Librarian, that web form again. So those are a couple of different places to ask for help. So going back again to the home page, I just want to show you, we do have on the lower half of the home page a list of information categorized by subject. So this is a better way to look for sort of databases and resources than scrolling through that alphabetical list. Just because they're categorized by subject so that you have an idea of what you're getting before you click in. So looking at the Education Leadership Subject Guide, we have a list of resources that are recommended for education leadership. Among them, Eric EBSCO, which some of you may be familiar with. It's the Educational Resource Information Center database, and this is the EBSCO version. EBSCO is a content provider, so this particular version has more full text than the freely available version, so that's something you might want to take a look at. There is a tutorial that's an introduction to Eric EBSCO, so if you have trouble with it, you can go to that, or you can ask me, and that's what I'm going to end with is my contact info, which is just right here under staff. And really, you can contact any of us if you have a particular question. We all have different backgrounds and different things that we specialize in. So that's me. I am a reference and instruction librarian and the liaison for education. And if there are any questions, please let me know. You can send me an email or give me a call or type into the chat box.
Great. Cadence, thank you so much for hanging in through the session and for bringing people up to speed on who you are and what you do.
No problem.
All right, so we're ready to close. I appreciate everybody's pushing through the technology, testing their audio. Sounds like almost all of you have some sort of headphones just by the quality of the audio sound. I want to appreciate that. And Cadence's screen is up there to bid us good evening. Any questions, takeaways, follow-ups needed, please feel free to start with an email overnight, particularly as you think of things in the evening and into the early morning. And then staff and I will pick up calls, emails, and whatever during the daylight hours tomorrow. We've done pretty well on the parking lot, staying track of what folks need. And Cadence is handing me back my screen. So what I'll be able to do is close with a cartoon. Here is one I like to share. So if you found yourself thinking, oh, my audio is not working and how come I had to sign back in and technology isn't perfect. Here's another emotion that comes up for graduate students, particularly mid-career senior people. Wait a minute, I'm back in school. Do I have to do what the teacher says or can I do my own thing? So that's a bit of a challenge that can carry you as you go. Keep those in mind as well. All right, everybody, have a good evening. Thank you so much for attending tonight, and please stay in touch. The course closes Sunday night, so finish up your work. Talk to everybody soon. Bye-bye.